When a man is genuinely serious about you, he is going to do these 5 things. Now before I dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button below and click on that bell notification as well, so every week you get access to my latest videos where I talk more about how to save your marriage, learning more about male psychology and relationships, and what you can do to really heal yourself so you can be the best version of yourself within your relationship. Now the first sign that he is serious about you is that there is a level of emotional intelligence. Now not only does emotional intelligence refer to a level of awareness of one's emotional state, but more importantly, in the context of a relationship, there is a genuine level of empathy towards the other person. See, whenever I see relationships that are falling apart, often I find that the partner, and because I work primarily with women, the male partner in that instance doesn't really have much of an interest in terms of how that person is feeling. And that can be really, really hard to take, because for all human beings, when another person, especially our intimate partner, is not really that interested in how we feel, that makes us feel inadequate, it makes us feel inferior, it makes us feel unheard, unseen, unloved, and a whole range of other emotions. And whenever I see relationships flourishing, the man in this particular instance genuinely wants to step up for his partner, but in particular has an awareness of what's going on emotionally within her, or has a desire to learn more about what the other person is actually experiencing in that moment in time. There is an empathy there. There is a willingness to say, hey, listen, I know you're going through something really, really tough at the moment. I want to genuinely understand where you're at so I can help you, so I can serve you, so I can be there for you. Emotional intelligence is a really, really important trait that I see whenever I observe relationships that are flourishing. And when a man has that level of emotional intelligence within the relationship with his partner, then you know that he is very serious about you. Now the second sign that a man is genuinely serious about you is that there is consistent communication. You know, there's a willingness to communicate and share things, to respond to messages quickly. There is an initiation of conversations rather than you always having to be the person to initiate things. There is a genuine interest in your life, what you're going through, what challenges you're facing, and the conversations also get into more depth rather than superficial stuff. See, a lot of times I see in relationships where the conversations are often just really surface level. And that's why after, 6, 7, 8 years, over time in those relationships, people start to feel like, well, we're just not really interested in anything anymore, or we don't have the same interests, or we're just like roommates. And the problem is that individuals aren't going into depth. Until you go into depth, it's very difficult to really get that relationship to go to new levels and to new heights. I've said this before, but in my own marriage, because me and my wife, when we communicate and we actually go into depth, we're learning about each other's fears, our insecurities, our passions, our desires, and all of those sorts of things. Because we're going to that level of depth, not one person could come into our lives that could threaten that. I say this because this is often where infidelity is bred. When there isn't that level of connection, and so over time those initial feelings and those initial desires, they slowly start to subside. And then beyond the physical, there has to be something that binds the two of you. There has to be something that's going to allow you to stand the test of time. For a lot of people, there isn't that depth. So what happens? That's when individuals start looking elsewhere. They start developing deeper connections with other people at work or whatever. And so they start feeling like, oh, I've got this connection with this person at work and it's so special. I haven't had that with my wife before, or I haven't experienced that with my partner in the past at all. So that's when they start to question things and go, oh, is this the right person for me? So that's why I say it's actually very, very important to try and build depth in a relationship. And the third sign that he's genuinely serious about you is that he actively prioritizes you in his life. When men aren't that serious in a relationship, other things are going to be more important than spending time with you. He's going to want to hang out with his buddies. He's going to want to go and play golf. He's going to want to do all these things that he's so used to doing. And a little bit down the priority list might be you. And I know that's hard to take. I know that's a difficult thing to actually have to accept. But that's the reality of it, is that when a man is genuinely interested in you, he's going to make you more of a priority. He's going to want to do things that are going to help you both to develop a bond for each other. and not just coexist, right? It's going to be something that he wants to slowly develop over time. Now, I want to be clear here with all of these points I'm making that these are patterns, but there are naturally exceptions to the rule. You know, some individuals might have a real fear of commitment, for example, and that might mean that he's really interested in you, but his own inner demons are holding him back from being able to give his all to you. Or there may be some other things that are happening in his life that are forcing him to prioritize those things, and even though you are important, those things take priority at this moment in time. So I want to be clear here that there are exceptions to the rule, but generally speaking, these patterns absolutely apply in relationships. And fourthly, another sign is that he actually initiates conversations about the future. Discussions about investments, discussions about building a home, discussions about businesses and so on as well. You know, things that are actively involving both of you or your family and so on, he's going to want to engage in more of those conversations because he sees you as a part of his life, see you as a part of his environment. And the good thing about this is once you start talking about desires, you start talking about dreams and goals and so on, once again, you're going into more depth. And by building more depth, you then are slowly laying the platform for an even better relationship that you may have already got right now. You start laying the platform for an incredible relationship. Or if you're married, it's going to help you to lay even more solid foundations for your future. And finally, he genuinely supports you in terms of your personal growth, in your development as a person, your goals, your dreams, whatever it is that you're interested in, that he actually wants to be a part of it. He wants to support you. He loves discussing those things. He genuinely cares about you as a person and not for what you can give him. That's really important to have. It's not about how it benefits him. It's I love you, I care for you, and I want to make sure that you are in a wonderful place. And I'm going to support you and I'm going to be there for you every step of the way. He's genuinely invested in your future and your development as a person. Why? Because for a lot of men, when you're happy, they're happy. You know, there is nothing more magnificent when a woman is within her feminine self and she is light and she is bubbly and she's being her best self because she knows that she's living a life that she's always dreamt of. It is a magnificent thing. There is nothing more attractive for a man than seeing his woman happy. Even when it comes to the attraction process. When a man is going out into a nightclub or a bar or a cafe or whatever and he's approaching a woman, when he sees that she is happy as a result of that approach, it lights him up. Equally, if he's not getting that reaction that he wants, if he notices that she's not happy or she's got a bit of a negative energy about her, what happens? It shuts him down, makes him feel uneasy. And so a man who is genuinely serious about you is going to want to be there for you, is going to want to support you, he's going to want to help you in pursuing the things that you want to pursue for the sake of your own growth and your own development as a person. And what's magnificent is that you can both collectively start to work as a team to help raise each other up, as opposed to it being, well, I've got to sacrifice this so you can do those things and so on. It can be teamwork. And that's so beautiful when that environment is created. Now, one other thing to add to this is that a lot of the times when it comes to relationships, we often feel like we've got to try and read that person's mind and say, oh, is that person interested in me because they're acting like this or they're acting like that? And I honestly believe that the real key to a high quality relationship is just really evolving your communication and making sure that both of you are stepping up and able to be as honest and open as you possibly can. But I know that if you're starting to observe these signs, this can kind of open the door for you to then engage in some of that conversation, really start to take it to the next level between the two of you. So I hope this all makes sense. If you like this video, make sure you hit that like button below. If you want to get more videos like this, hit that subscribe button. And do let me know what your biggest takeaway is, or if you have any questions or comments or anything like that, just write them below and I'll make sure to respond to every single one of you. And if you want to learn 4 feminine traits that men find wildly attractive, then click this video above. Thank you so much, God bless, and I'll talk to you in the next video.